What's up, guys? We are here in the beautiful Venice Beach, California, in sunny SoCal. So this is obviously a phenomenal setting. And tonight, we did a phenomenal arm workout. We hit some bis and triceps with your one and only Rob Riches. I gotta say, Rob, it's been a long time coming. You guys have wanted it. We've wanted to collaborate for a while, so we did it, and I'm excited to say, it was a great pump.
Yeah, we managed to tie in some of your exercises, your training kind of methods, mine as well, and we have different styles, and that shows in our physiques and our bodies, and also how we actually train and the exercises that we do. I know you like the higher reps, you push more with that endurance, the volume, but I actually think you came down on the weight just to maybe allow me to stay with. But,
I really did it.
I appreciate that.
I really did it. But I gotta say, Rob's exactly right in that you can always learn something. I've been doing this now, we've been doing this now for 5-6 years, and I'll tell you what, every time I work out with somebody new, I learn something. And that's the name of the game, is to always keep learning. That's what keeps things fun and keeps things motivated. So tonight, we hit some arms. We started off with our triceps. So for me, I've always looked at tricep training. Obviously, you have 3 heads of the tricep. You have the long head, the lateral, and then the medial. The long head inserts on the scapula. So I always like starting off with an exercise, a basic compound movement, if you will, for the triceps. So we started off with skull crushers, straight supersetted with a close grip bench press. And the reason I do this is just that's your basic mass builder, and we treated it as such. So we did some warm-up sets, and then we jumped into it, starting off with about 10 reps, and then we pyramided up in weight, went up in weight, down in reps to really, it was our ass kicker right off the bat. When we're fresh, we're doing the heaviest movement, heaviest possible exercises that we can. And I'll tell you what, it was hot in the gym tonight, and it got a sweat going quickly.
It's 85 degrees in the gym. I mean, talk about a warm-up. I was sweating before we even started. That's how humid and hot it is. It's one of the, I would say negatives, but it comes with the whole package. Training at the Mecca is that it's hot, it's humid, and it's like how the guys trained in the beginning.
People sweating all over the place. I like it. I'd much rather do that than training in a cold gym where you got layers on and you got to take them off as you go. You get here, you're excited, you're warm. People are in cutoff shirts. You got a crazy arm day going, so you get all vascular because it's all warm outside, and you have at it. What we did is, I really liked actually how Rob, people always do things a little bit differently. So he showed me, I've always leaned off of the bench, gone reverse laid. You guys can see on the first set that I do, I lay with my head off the bench. Then talking to Rob a little bit, he showed me that he likes to lay with his hips off, keeping his hips down, his back and chest on it. And then we both kind of use similar technique, and then we go down above our head. And then I don't ever extend straight up over my eye level. It's a little bit out, almost like I would say a 60-degree angle, and keeping that tricep always engaged rather than getting a lot of that shoulder. And whenever you're resting, whenever you lock out, your tension's on your joint, not the muscle. So we made sure to keep the tension on the tricep, and we did 4 sets of those working. Got pretty heavy on those.
Just going back to that point, Steve, people I see, whenever they lock their arms out especially, and they tend to rest and almost relax the muscle. Biceps, again, a prime example, where people pull the bar up with easy bar dumbbells, they get to this point, and they literally just rest. And then they allow the bar to pull back down, curl, throw it up, and we were keeping that tension on the muscle head throughout the entire range of motion. And even though we didn't go as heavy as possibly we could have, our form was as strict as I think we could keep it that way, and we could really feel it on the muscle throughout like every rep.
And that is one thing I will say that Rob and I do share, and we do a lot of the stuff the same, but full range of motion on each rep. And that really is, we're talking about time under tension. We both agree that the negative portion of the rep is just as important. So you'll see us in this video making sure we're going all the way down, all the way up. I tend to stop after I do my skull crushers and on my close grip bench press. I don't touch my chest because that's going to bring in a little bit more anterior delt and chest. So I stop about 2 inches short and make sure I lock out. Power lifters, for example, they have tremendous triceps, and they don't ever really do any tricep exercises. They just get super powerful triceps and very developed triceps, all from the way they bench press. So again, you can get, you don't have to come all the way down, but again, all the way up, We're not locking out, but we're going all the way up to the point where we're maximizing that tricep contraction.
It's a great burnout too.
It was.
Compound movement, we kind of moved it back into another compound movement just to finish off on not even a drop set, just a burn on that. Arms are pumped, get the blood, nutrients, oxygen, all of the right kind of ingredients for a good arm workout into the triceps and the tricep heads. I mean, we were talking about the different structures of arms. Your arms quite a bit bigger than mine, but it comes down to the proportion of that as well.
Right.
You have these big, huge tricep heads that kind of
insert lower down.
Yeah, they come off the caps, and I think that comes a lot from the competition days or the competition parts of your training. In terms of that, the shape that you're trying to aim towards, on stage.
And I also think, people always want what they can't have. I look at Rob, and he has a great lateral head on his tricep. And that's something I've always tried to work for. Genetics, just like in anything else. I'm never going to run the 100 meter in 9.6 seconds like Usain Bolt. At the end of the day, genetics do play a factor. Insertions, muscle bellies. Rob he has small joints, but very round muscle bellies, and it gives him a really nice aesthetic look. For me, I look that way round only when I get super lean. So I'm not as cut naturally as Rob is. He has great separation. So I have to train a little bit harder to achieve that look. Got the wheel on. Big 45s on your side. We're gonna see what we're up against today. Whereas, mass has always been somewhat easier for me, especially in the arms. Next up on triceps, we went with your exercise. We went with the cable.
Yeah, I love the cables for triceps. Cables, we can switch it up with the free weight, but the reason I like the cables certainly is that's kind of almost the midpoint of the triceps.
Right.
Is we can keep the tension,
constant tension,
fluid on the actual muscle. With dumbbells, free weights, easy bar, straight bar, we kind of get that, it's a sticking point. Let's say we were doing the kickbacks, for example.
Right.
We're gonna extend the arm up, feel the tension throughout that kind of the mid-range, and we get to the top, and we're gonna start to cheat the rep, or again, we start to rest it. With the cables, we've got that constant level of tension throughout the full range of motion, and I just get a nice feeling in the muscle.
Yeah. And the thing I really like too is we changed up. You guys will see in the video, we changed up our grip and
3 different attachments or handle positions.
So again, you're hitting the arm at all different variety of angles. And this is one of the things I tell people all the time. You need to hit things, because everyone, again, has a little bit different insertions, so they're going to feel things a little bit different. You need to try a supinated grip, a pronated grip. You need to try a V-bar, a straight bar, an easy bar, whatever it is that maximizes that tricep involvement, that's going to be the one you want to stick with. So we kind of show you guys a couple different techniques. I really liked also how really it was push the bar out in front a little bit.
Extend the elbows a little bit more. Otherwise, I feel, certainly with cables, people use it as an excuse. They stand close, they do the movement, but they're not really engaging in it. They're not thinking about what the muscle is or isn't doing.
Right.
They're thinking about putting
That
the bar down, and it's that movement. And by taking a step back and bringing the elbows forwards, you have to think about it, because in order to extend the arms and flex that tricep head, you've got to pull that bar down, keep the elbows out, and it's constantly keeping your mind focused on what you're doing.
I like that.
And we didn't change the weight from that one.
No, we didn't.
We pretty much kept the same weight.
Until we went reverse grip.
And naturally you have to drop that weight down.
Yeah, definitely had to lighten it up. We went higher reps on this
Higher
one
reps,
as well.
like 15, even 20 in the first set.
And that's something I typically do with cables. I'll usually go a little bit higher reps with cables. But man, that was, and you'll notice in the video, there's some partial reps that I start doing. So once I've hit failure on that, I tend to work a little bit more of the upper third of the movement, and then the bottom third of the movement. Once I can't do any more full reps, I'll hit some partial reps. But again, that's when I've gone to complete failure and in strict good form. Then I'll hit some partials and work that upper and then the lower part, the lower third of that tricep exercise. Just something I've always liked to do. Really working different ranges throughout that whole motion.
The great thing about cables too, it's easy with that weight stack to drop the weights, to drop sets, easy to change up the attachment, so we can get a lot done within a relatively short space of time instead of moving around, changing weights, taking plates off. But then we came outside again.
Yeah.
Just over here.
That's a great part about being here. Is you can come outside. You know, you're kind of starting to drag a little bit in your workout. You come outside and it's a totally different style of training. You get the sun beating down on you or the sun setting, and all of a sudden you're a little bit, rejuvenized. You're ready to hit it again. So
how many gyms has, first of all, the size and the amount of equipment, the Gold's here in Venice, California, and then you come outside and it's literally like the fourth gym.
It's awesome. This training outside is such a unique thing that if you guys ever can do it, I highly recommend it. It totally does it for me. And what we did is we did a seated behind the neck dumbbell extension. So again, we're working, I always like to include at least one movement for my triceps that I'm going to be stretching that long head. This was it on this workout. So we went with a 75-pound dumbbell. Pretty high reps on this. I thought I would only be able to get 12. Hit about 16 on that first set. And then what we did is we went straight into a bench dip. So this is our finishing movement. What we did, put our feet up and really went full range of motion after the dumbbell.
Body weight to 2.
Yes.
Not every exercise needs weight, resistance. I think a lot of the time it's easy to fall into that trap that you need to add weight, you need to add resistance, and in doing so, you're going to restrict the range of motion, your form, the technique, and I think same with like chin-ups, push-ups, bench dips, anything like that. 12, 15 reps, I mean, we were burnt out.
Yeah.
Adding a weight on top of that, I think like 4 or 5 reps, and then you start to question whether it's worthwhile doing that.
And that is something that I'd like to point out. Heavy is such a relative term. It can be heavy because we've already done a movement before. We're doing it at the end of the workout. The triceps are fatigued. So heavy for us this time was our body weight. We had our feet up to make it a little bit harder, but again, doing it right after that dumbbell extension, we're absolutely gassed. So we did back and forth on there, kept the reps pretty high, moved at a pretty quick pace, and just, man, by the end of that, the triceps were super full.
We did that in about 25 minutes maybe?
Get in, get out. Even in Gold's gym, that's hard to do. There's a lot of talking. A lot of jaw muscles get worked here in Gold's gym as well.
I want to talk quickly as well about rest between sets. I know beginners, especially, they tend to ask us whether we should have a fixed time, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. If the weight's heavy, maybe a few more minutes. For me, it's just you go, I go, you go. If I'm a little bit more drained, I need more time. I'm not clock watching.
Right.
If I feel good, I'm going to go into it. And even if I'm not, I'm going to get as many reps as I can within that time frame and move on. I don't limit myself necessarily to, I need to lift this much weight within this time frame and then rest for this long.
Right.
And I think it's important if you're starting out, because you need to have some kind of structure and have a plan to be able to adjust to and start to experience that. But for experienced lifters, within any sport, athletic, bodybuilding, fitness, or other sporting arenas, you tend to just get a feel for what works for you. And I think that was apparent in our arm workout. We're focusing on proper technique, right form, a little bit explosive power, lifting within our threshold, kind of reaching that intensity. But we weren't fixing ourselves within a set kind of rest period. We were just going with what felt right and pushing each other. With the camera rolling, with people coming up asking for photos and autographs and everything, I mean, energy is pumped in there.
Definitely. It was anytime you're at Gold, when you get the camera rolling, it definitely gets the juices flowing. One thing I will say to that effect of, we're not clock watching. It's kind of like counting macros. At the end of the day, you and I were talking about it. When you're experienced, when you've been doing it for so long, it comes second nature. So we pretty much know, what it's like to be training at the right pace. We know that, we're roughly how much rest time we need because we've been doing it for so long. If you are a beginner and you're noticing that your pump is fading or you're talking too much, set the clock and keep an eye on it. Especially again, if you're a beginner and you're learning how to eat right, counting macros is sometimes a necessity that you just can't get around. Especially if it's your first time maybe dieting for a competition, there's really no other way than to do that. So again, what works for Rob and I, especially as two people that have been training for a while. If you have a partner, great. If you're doing it by yourself and you're somewhat of a newbie, it's okay to watch the clock just to make sure you're not, talking too much in between. But for us, again, it's more of a feel that we've gone off of. The whole workout was more of a feel. We might throw an extra set in here, and some days you're going to feel better than others. And I think that as you progress, it's instinctive training that you really let your body tell you, and let it dictate what you're doing.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Speaking of which, we broke this video down into 2 parts. I mean, together we've got over, just 500,000 people subscribing to our channels. More than that, close to 1 million. So
thank you guys.
People. Yeah, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing and having fun and living the life, but also trying to pay it forward to something.
Right.
We both grew up with aspirational dreams and role models and people that we aspire to and still look up to and have the pleasure of working with and associating with within the fitness industry. And one thing I'm seeing now is that kind of next wave of big fitness people.
Definitely.
Trendsetters.
Definitely.
People paying it forwards, making videos, creating blogs, photos, giving
so much great information out there.
inspiring people, motivating, and that's really at the heart of what we do. Is we have fun with it, but it's also we want to create something like an artist, like a musician, like a painter. This is our artwork. This is our gallery, and this is our portfolio where we can say, if people go, well, what do you do? I'd like to say, go to my YouTube channel, have a look at some of the videos, and you'll kind of get an idea of what we do.
Right.
So
it's not easy to always explain, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like the easiest way is to just to see what we're putting out there.
Right.
That paints a perfect picture. So on that note, do subscribe to Steve's channel.
And subscribe to Rob's channel.
Subscribe to mine. This has been part 1. Make sure you check out part 2 over on my channel where
bicep time.
back
We'll be talking about some biceps. So yeah, check out this tricep. The tricep workout was phenomenal. I guarantee you guys will get a great pump. Again, thank you for subscribing. It means a lot. And always thumbs up the video. And leave a comment. We like to jump on there from time to time. Just keep it positive.
All right, that was a good workout. See you guys over on part 2.